What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steve Nosentoski here of Maize n Brew, bringing you another video. This time we're looking at JJ McCarthy and IMG Academy's game against Venice High. This was this past Friday, but my every snap video was taken down, so I'm posting a highlight here, kind of breakdown of his film, how he did against Venice, and look at what we can expect from him in the future. So Jon Simmons at Maize n Brew also had a really nice breakdown on the Maize n Brew website. You can check that out. There's GIFs of McCaffrey. He breaks his film down as well. He also scouts some of Michigan's 2022 targets. That includes offensive tackle Tyler Booker, defensive tackle Dominic James as well. So check the description for that link. Good stuff there from Jon Simmons. The stat line for McCaffrey on the day: 23 for 37 for 333 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. So overall, a really nice stat line for McCaffrey. There are some things to improve upon, so it wasn't all perfect, but really good start to his IMG career. They're 1-0 over Venice. They blew him out in this game. So let's get into breaking down his film. I'll first go over some general highlights of each section, and then I'll break down a couple plays as a part of each section. So looking at screen passes first, it makes sense. IMG ran a bunch of these and shorter passes. Get the ball in your athlete's hands, let them do the work. For JJ McCarthy here, look for 3 things. Number 1, ball location. Want it to be in a location that the receiver can catch and run with minimal extra movement. So any throw outside of their stride, if they need to lunge, anything lower than their waist, that greatly decreases the chance of a successful play. Number 2, ball velocity. Depends on the type of screen, of course, but want to get some zip to the wide receivers. The earlier you get the ball to them, the more time they have to react to the defense collapsing on them. Finally, timing, especially if it's a running back screen. You want to give time for the offensive line to get to that second level, but otherwise just selling the play action, whatever it may be, that's really important for a running back screen. So on these throws, most of the time he's delivering a nice catchable ball on target right there on the numbers, and no issue. There are a couple I'll break down here where he did have some troubles, but for the most part, it looked really good. All right, so let's take a look at this screen pass here. It's a screen pass left, and he just leaves it a little bit too in front of the guy. So ideally, this ball is actually thrown to the left side of the wide receiver. So this is a unique case where you want the ball over here, and that'll give time for the running back out of the backfield to get towards the sideline here. You'll have these 2 guys on the outside getting their blocks. The motion here that you see out of the running back coming here, it's a little play action. That's trying to get these linebackers to flow this way to just give the extra room for this ball carrier out to the outside with these blocks in place. So looking at the throw itself, again, it's just not where it has to be. You want it here, so then he turns this way and has all this space. Instead, it's delivered here, which is against the running back's motion. He has to stop his stride, which gives room for both the safety to come up as well as this linebacker to float to the play. And, it just stops the play altogether. So looking at the throwing motion here of McCarthy, I don't see anything too bad. You could argue that this foot should be driving more towards this throw. Instead, he kind of opens up, which means his shoulder is pointed away from his target, which you want to be stepping into the throw. So, having this open of a stance here, you want him to be more driving into this throw. So that could have a little bit of impact on his accuracy, and we saw that there. So just, this is something that didn't happen often. Again, you want it out here, it was over here. Inaccuracies happen. This is just one of those cases. All right, another screen pass here. You got this jet motion to the right side, and it's an interesting play design. Doesn't work out. So this motion from this wide receiver here, this is designed to bring as many of these second-level guys flowing to this left side. That will give 2 things. Give time for the running back to release over here to the left side. It'll give time for the offensive line to get to the second level with leverage, since they should be flowing with this fake action. You see McCarthy is also trying to sell this as well. So obviously it's an inaccurate throw here. It's a little low. I think there's a good play here by this defensive tackle. I think the timing is actually correct at the time of the release for this offensive guard. You have the appropriate timing here. It's just that this defensive tackle recognizes that, hey, something's going on here, and he follows it nicely. So I don't think it's any bad play by offensive line, but that does affect this throw. Maybe he's a little spooked, McCarthy, on delivering a ball to ensure that it's away from this defensive tackle. So that could be one aspect. Another aspect here, I think, is the left tackle not doing a good enough job. This is the one guy who can really affect this pass. All these guys are kind of away from the play. You just want to make sure they don't come on this side where the running back's going, and they're all slanted this way, you can see. So by the time that McCarthy is turning around, this is the one guy that you have to ensure does not get there, and he does get there. So that speeds up McCarthy a little bit on his throw, so obviously he can't step into this or take his time. I do think he should float this ball a little bit more. If he can float it over and just give some room for the running back, that'll give time for separation from this defensive tackle and also alleviate some of the pressure here. If he just floats it, you can float that easily off your back foot. Instead, he tries to throw kind of a quick dart, and with this pressure, it gets into the line of scrimmage here. It doesn't get to the running back. So two-parter here. I think it's the left tackle needs to do a better job of ensuring that defensive end doesn't get to the quarterback. I think McCarthy could have delivered a little bit better ball off his back foot, a little more arc, easier catchable ball for the running back to adjust to. Only a couple running plays here for J.J. McCarthy. This first one, he jukes the pants off of a linebacker. Poor guy here. So they didn't call a whole lot of runs for him, but he has plenty of speed to make it work at the next level. I expect Michigan to do that. Oh, poor number 34 linebacker. All right, 3rd and 3 here. 4 wide, and J.J. McCarthy decides to run to pick up a first down. So let's first look at the routes here. It's hard to tell exactly what all of them are. Something deep on the outside here. You have kind of like a skinny, maybe a skinny post or something from this guy. This guy's just going to kind of sit at the marker. Guy on the outside is running a similar kind of slant here, and then this running back number 6 is going out into the flat here to replace that. So you'll see that nothing really opens up here, especially here. It's double coverage. That was McCarthy's first read. He's looking now at the running back where you do have this defensive back accounting for him. So on the left side, it doesn't look too promising either. You have this guy covered. You can't see the deep guys, but I assume he's not looking over there. So it's not really applicable for this play. So he sees that. He looks again over here at this guy, and he decides to run, right? So it's a good decision because if he throws here, it's very likely that between these 3 guys, you only have 1 blocker. It's tough to see this running back actually picking up the first down. So since you have these 2 guys covering this wide receiver, this guy would be like the spy if they had one. So he decides, you know what, I think I can beat him and run right here into this open area left from this guy dropping onto coverage here. And he does just that. So it's good recognition from J.J. McCarthy, knowing the down and distance, going through a couple of his reads, and then making a quick decision to pick up a first down. All right, looking at some quick passes here. Again, this is something IMG ran a lot of. The short curl, sit routes are very popular. Same reasons that screen passes as well, right? Get the ball into your hands of your athletes, let them work. So something McCarthy delivers well. Again, ball location is key. This slant in particular, right on the face mask. Keep it high and in position for the wide receiver to turn and run. There was a drop or two. Most of the time, though, he's on the money. A couple plays that I will highlight, but overall I'm impressed with his ball velocity here. His timing is good. Delivery is usually on the numbers. I didn't see too many inaccuracies here. He gives the opportunity for these guys to make a play after the catch, and that's all these little passes are about. All right, this is probably one of my favorite plays of his quick passes for sure. So there's a little blitz up the middle from this linebacker, right? Number 18, I think this is shooting up the middle here, and you do have 4 wide. It's not really applicable what these guys are actually running, but J.J. McCarthy sees that this guy is coming, and he knows that this guy is going out on a route here. So this guy's probably running something like a slant to vacate this area. Number 21 will go with him. You have this safety as well. So the only really guys that you can have accountable for this guy coming out of the backfield, since this guy is blitzing, is this backside linebacker, and that's a tough angle, and the safety. So you're looking at a good chunk, at least 5 yards on this 2nd and 10, and that's something you take all the time. So it's a nice, easy throw here. Again, J.J. McCarthy recognizes this blitz, delivers a nice catchable ball as well. And that's important. Right now, this running back is just starting to throw that, or to recognize that this ball is coming, right? He just turned his head. So delivering a nice arc on the ball, give him time to react, and then he has all the space in the world, and this guy can block one of the 2 guys that will be immediately coming to him. So it's a good ball in front of the running back. Again, not too much of a bullet there. It's a catchable ball. It could be a little bit more in front, actually. So it was towards his back shoulder. But again, you look at all the space he has. He has plenty of room to work with, and it defeats that blitz, right? That blitz was to disrupt the pass. They had an outlet for it. J.J. McCarthy hit it. All right, and conversely, this could probably be described as J.J. McCarthy's worst play. So looking at the main route here that he's throwing at, which is interesting because he is reading JJ McCarthy is reading the safety. At least it looks like he's looking at this guy. And you're going to see that this guy's running right up the seam here. He's going to beat his initial guy, but this guy is hovering. He's just going to hover and he's going to jump this route. It should be a pick six the other way. JJ McCarthy looks like he's reading him. I don't know what he's looking at here. And he tries to thread the needle here. This is just something that you don't want to do. I mean, his form is good. He's stepping into the throw. If this guy didn't exist, sure, it's a touchdown. But he should know that, hey, this guy is turning away, and this guy has the outside here. This guy's roaming. What do I do here? But instead, he doesn't see him, and that should be a pick six. So, honestly, if he pump fakes here, because this guy's hovering, right? This guy's got a lot of momentum going towards the end zone. If he's reading this guy, if he reads him shooting up here and just does a little pump fake instead of actually throwing it, then you can deliver a ball over the top and look at all this space you have. So just got to be careful of those safeties that are hovering there. It should have gone for six the other way. You just got to, that's youth. That's something you get to a little too comfortable in your rhythm. And, luckily it didn't turn into a pick six. So you got 3rd and goal here, a throw that just came up a little bit short on a good route on the outside. So let's look at kind of what McCarthy is looking at. It looks like it's an RPO. Not sure if he's reading this guy, but running back goes here. It looks like the first target is probably this slant. So McCarthy is reading that, and then he decides, you know what, this is pretty well covered, and I agree. Plus you have this guy in the throw path as well. So if this was his read, it makes sense to... I'm not sure why he didn't give if it was a true RPO. This guy looks like he could have been open, so that could have been a target, but at this point it's a little too late. That gives a little bit too much room for the safety to come up. So now he's switching his focus over to the outside. So let's take another look at what he's dealing with here. So you have this stand-up defensive end. I don't know exactly who this guy is, but he's sitting here a little bit, and then he'll have a free rush to the quarterback. So what that means is McCarthy has a guy in his face, right? So on the outside, you have this little sit and out route. There's a name for it. Dig, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, so you have this guy open, and the motion of this defensive back is coming to the inside here at the initial route. So you do have this guy, but you have this defensive end coming up that conflicts with the throw path here. So I think that could potentially impact why the throw is a little bit to the outside. Also, let's take a look at the form here for McCarthy. He stands pretty still here. He doesn't step into this throw. It's not necessarily off the back foot, but he doesn't step into it. So it's a flat-footed throw. His feet are pointed more this way than towards where he's throwing the ball, so that also can cause some inaccuracy. So he's torquing his body instead of stepping into his throw. So that hurts a little bit in accuracy, and you can see the combination of this defender in his face and being flat-footed causes this throw to be a little underthrown and a little to the right here. So more unfortunate than anything else, but he did have the guy, but you'd like to see that converted there. All right, a fair number of plays, him running to his left and throwing to his right. A lot more than running to his right side, which is interesting for a right-handed thrower. So you have to get your shoulders around, ideally be running towards the line of scrimmage to get power behind that throw. So that second play is a good example right here of his playmaking ability. See a bit of Patterson there as well, where he scrambles, keeps his eyes downfield, delivers a good ball to the wide receiver at the back of the end zone. So that's a good display of his ability with his legs to make something happen in the backfield. This third play is really tough. This was a throw that was 35 yards in the air, where he had pressure coming off the edge, had to do his best to turn his shoulder here while running to the left. Comes up a bit short on the throw, but again, it's in the air for 35 yards. It's impressive when running to the left to be throwing that. Okay, so that's not to say that all on the run throws were great. This first one here, he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. So let's look at kind of what he's looking at. Play design is a little bit fake of a play action here. You're having this tight end come out across here. All the routes are designed to come across the line of scrimmage here for this rollout for JJ McCarthy. This is the actual target here that McCarthy throws to. This is kind of a outside release out route towards the sideline. So looking at this play design, works pretty well. You have this guy with quite a bit of separation on the top of your screen. You have this tight end that came across formation. I think this should have been the target. If you watch the throw here from McCarthy, he does a good job on getting his shoulders around. Again, he's pointing at his target. He's stepping into the throw. He has kind of done this arc path, right? You want to be running towards the line of scrimmage when you deliver the ball. He does that pretty well, and the ball that he delivers will be accurate. The guy he's throwing to, though, has two defenders that'll be on him. So right now he should be throwing the ball, right? he takes an extra beat there. You see, he takes an extra step there, and that's what I think is the issue with this ball. He has two defenders there. Obviously, it's a good throw. It's high, catchable, but it's just he ran out of room. The route ran out of bounds because of the longer time that McCarthy took to deliver that ball, and it's out of bounds by the time it gets to the wide receiver. So if you look instead at this tight end, he had a good motion out here across the line of scrimmage. This is 5 yards. This linebacker is a couple of yards separation. You deliver a ball in front of this tight end, you're looking at least a 5-yard pickup there. And then also this guy here. So this safety kind of fell off of this guy who ran a route at the top of the screen here because of the eyes of McCarthy. So maybe he would have come up. But again, I think there was enough separation there to take a look there. So I think McCarthy got a little too locked in on his read. He had a couple other options. It was a nice catchable ball and good form on the throw. But maybe, check the other options if you have a target that's that heavily covered. So this second play here is kind of along the same vein of him trying to thread a needle here on a pass that just doesn't work out. Gets his wide receiver lit up, throws a little bit high. So looking at the coverage here from Venice High, you have 21 who's going to drop back, as well as the safety over the top for this route that's kind of going up the seam, a fly route. So you have two guys here. What you have is this outside receiver just kind of runs out here and turns back towards the quarterback. So that provides McCarthy, who's rolling to his right, a path right here, given that you have 21 and the safety coming out on this wide receiver. The only guys you really have to cover this guy is this safety who's coming across the formation here. So that's a lot of room, and I'm a little confused why McCarthy didn't decide to throw this ball, because he's looking right at this guy. Wrong color, but he's looking right at number 7 and decides not to throw it. So I think he should be looking at 21. If he's falling back, then this guy will be double covered, and you'll have number 7 with a lot of room to work with only these guys flowing to the play, as well as those defensive backs afterwards. But he shifts his focus, and again, his throwing motion here isn't that great. He has time to set his feet. He's running to his right, so it's not as much turning his shoulders. So his shoulder placement is good, but I don't really like how he's stepping off of his back foot here. I think he has time to plant his feet and then deliver a ball, but regardless, I think the bigger issue here, ball's a little high, but it's also you have an open target here at the bottom of the screen that he came off of in a situation where he shouldn't have. So I deem the correct guy in this particular play is kind of the downfall there. All right, so a little play action, quick pass here out of the backfield to this H-back coming across, and it's just a little bit behind him. So good play design. It fakes out a bunch of the defense. So you have 13 coming across here. It looks like it's going to be a handoff, and you have all the offensive linemen blocking this way, and that's to bring all of these linebackers as well as this defensive end away as well. And you slip out this H-back sort of guy to come across the formation. With the routes from these guys, that'll help clear this entire side of the field, and you get a lot of room for this guy coming across with only really this safety, the one to defend against that. So play design works perfectly. This guy has plenty of room at the time of throwing. You have a ton of room here, so the ball is just not accurate. And again, this is a case where with that much room, with this kind of play, the number one priority is just get it in his hands, right? So yes, he's throwing off his back foot because you have pressure from these two guys, but they're not right in your face, and delivering a nice catchable ball instead of a bullet, that's the appropriate action here, because you have a ton of room for this guy to work with. If this ball is just a little bit up in the air, if he's catching it a half second later, he still has at least 5 yards and likely picks up the first down in the 2nd and 7. Instead, it's on his back hip. So that not only disrupts his movement to the outside, where there's the most gain in this play, but also gives times for these guys flowing, this guy to come down. It just disrupts the entire play. So like to see a little more loft on this ball. Obviously positioning, the accuracy would have been better in front of his body. All right, real quick, if you're wondering why I did a close change, part of the footage I recorded the other day got corrupted. So I'm back here revisiting some of these final clips here. All right, so looking at some miscellaneous on-target throws. First one off the back foot here, so it's a little bit behind where the defender was approaching. Doesn't make this a huge deal, but still, back foot not the best. Second throw ends up being defensive pass interference. Throw may have been a bit high. Third throw here, beautifully thrown ball between two defenders here. Just gotta pull those in. Fourth one here, I like his ability to shuffle a bit to the left to avoid the pressure. Delivers a nice ball across the middle. A little high, would like to see that closer to the numbers. Fifth pass here, has pressure in his face, throwing off the back foot. Nice delivered ball, just some good plays by the defensive back there. All right, here's a play that probably should have been a touchdown, but wide receiver could not pull it in. So you got 3 wide. This guy, the target throw here is running kind of this slant, and that's the first read here. You do have a little play action motion with this backfield with this guy pulling as well, so that'll suck up this second level here. I'm not going to really note what's going on here, but there is a guy coming off the edge free. Number 94, I think, is coming right here. So a couple things to note here about J.J. McCarthy. He holds on for an extra beat there. You recognize he has to wait a second, and that's to see what this safety is doing, number 7. So he's not sure at this point. He wants to be throwing it right now, but he's not sure exactly what this defender here, if he's going to jump into this. If he hesitates for a second, then that gives him a little bit more knowledge onto what that defender is going to be doing. So that's why he waits. He waits that extra beat, which is an impressive thing to do in the face of pressure. He knows this guy is going to be coming to him and getting a bit of pressure. So he waits a beat, has the lane there, and I think this ball should have been caught. Yes, it is right on his fingertips. But I think it is a catchable ball. So overall, it's flat-footed, so he's not really stepping. He is kind of shifting his weight here, but again, he waits a bit, right? So he's shuffling a little bit, but to have this amount of strength flat-footed because he waited a beat there, it's impressive arm strength, and it's pretty on target for what it needed to be. That last one wasn't his best throw. This is one of my favorites where he shuffles to the right here on 4 wide. Nice throw to 15, Jake Renda across the middle. He's a pit commit tight end. So yeah, you'll notice really good job by this running back to recognize this blitz. And J.J. McCarthy will shuffle, reset the pocket here before setting his feet and delivering a ball downfield. So really good find here. This linebacker does not do a good job getting any depth here, so that opens up this lane on the seam. You have the safety here again, that between these two, this provides a nice window for McCarthy to hit. So again, good pickup from this blitz pickup by the running back, and then a nice form throw here. Resets the pocket, sets his feet, boom, and delivers a nice catchable ball. So it's not necessarily a bullet, but it's a nice, it's got some nice zip on it, and man, that is the exact location you want, in stride, right on the numbers. You really can't draw it up much better than that. So, and it was, J.J. McCarthy was looking towards the outside here, and then his second read here was to render across the middle. So that's good to see him shifting, going through his progression, delivers a nice ball for a touchdown. And then another 4 wide here, and you have J.J. McCarthy again resetting the pocket and delivers just a strike in the back of the end zone. So again, he knows he has his running back in pass protection for this edge defender, so he's going to roll a little bit, reset the pocket to the right, and he's going to hit this guy again on the seam, kind of going up. Here's the inside receiver, maybe like a skinny post, you could call that. And that is his first read, so he's reading that safety all the way. And the thing that I'm most impressed with is he resets his feet, so he realizes, okay, I have some space to throw. And then the location, the ball location here, he notices he has this safety here. So on this skinny post route, right, if he's leading him how he traditionally should, this is a pick. That's plenty of room for the safety to bite on that ball and probably take it for an interception here. But since this guy has some space here, right, there's space between this guy running his skinny post and this guy on the outside. So there's a window right here that a nicely delivered ball can fit in, and he hits that perfectly. So he puts a lot of zip on it, and he puts it behind the receiver to appropriately ensure that it's not intercepted. So a really good way to avoid an interception and show off that arm strength from J.J. McCarthy. So excellently done. And finally, here are some clips that didn't make it into the other categories. This first one, a bad snap. I like to see that just went down. They actually got a field goal out of that, I think. So just a nice, safe play there. Second play here. They didn't go deep often. He was just off the mark there. It was in double coverage, but a good attempt. This last one, I really like how he throws this ball. He was getting pressure. Throw it up for your wide receiver, right? In that scenario, you're going to get hit. You need to throw the ball away. Put it in a spot where only your receiver can get. Use the sideline as your friend there. Give your wide receiver a chance in one-on-one coverage. Obviously didn't come up as a complete pass, but it's a good way to get the ball out. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I know this was a longer video. Let me know what you guys think of J.J. McCarthy's performance. I think overall he did extremely well. There's some footwork things, some scrambling things, accuracy here and there that I think you could be cleaned up. But for his first game at IMG Academy, I came away pretty impressed with his performance. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future with Big Ten season kind of in flux. There's lots of time for me to be doing other things, but let me know what you guys are looking for. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And besides that, guys, stay safe out there, and as always, go blue.